What's poppin' T Squad? It's your girl Keisha, and I'm here with tonight's all tea, all shade, Braxton family values. I don't even know what episode this is. I didn't write it down, but y'all know what it is. Okay, so we pick up exactly where we left off last week with the sisters and daddy escorting Trina down the aisle. But as soon as they walk out, Tracy, drunk ass, trips over her own feet and loses her balance and falls. She said that she got caught on her pants. She knew that they were too long. I don't bit more believe that if you pay attention, she just was walking and then did one of these. She went back. That bitch was drunk as a skunk already. So she falls down on the ground and they help her up. And then she gonna look over to one of the sisters Thompson. Glad I didn't drink. Lies you tell, bitch. You already had a few. So the wedding starts and Judge Maybelline is the officiant, and all I can pay attention to was that haystack that she called a wig. Her hair looked horrible. It looked like it had all the spritz. She still like she looked like she used spritz, baby, in her hair. Like that shit was so coiffed and big. It was giving me 70s good times, Willona vibes. I didn't know where she was going. So during the vows, Vaughn, does not want to say certain things about not going to bed angry and this and that. It was cute. It was funny. I just hate the way Trina looked. I just hate it. I just hated it so much. Like, she looked a mess. So I did notice right off the bat, because me and my brother was watching it together, and I was like, because I noticed when they kept on panning the camera over to Tamar, whose hair was equally a mess with them baby hairs, and the wig was pulled all the way down to here, and then she had baby hairs damn near by her eyebrows. It was just a mess. But I noticed every time they would pan to Tamar that they would cut off half of David's face. And I said to my brother, I was like, do you think they cutting his face off on purpose? And he was like, I don't know. And then sure enough, later on, you see they put one of the little screens over his face to blur him out. So they ain't want that nigga on there, period. So Tracy tells Daddy and Miss Wanda about her fall and talking about, they gonna say I was drunk. And Daddy said, who is they? She was like, my sisters. You are drunk. And Daddy and Miss Wanda know you're drunk. Miss Wanda sit there. You can tell, how when a drunk person talking to you or talking over you and you just sitting there like, I wish this drunk motherfucker would get the fuck away from me. I smell the liquor on your breath. Oh my God, you're annoying the shit out of me. That's how Miss Wanda was sitting there looking like, girl, if you don't get this funky ass breath of yours, don't get the fuck out my face. I'm trying to be a good Christian woman, but you're trying my patience. So Sean comes over and tells Daddy that they need him for pictures. Tracy says, get the fuck out of here, bitch. Miss Wanda was looking like, oh God, but she kind of like laughed a little bit. I was like, why is she reacting to this man like that? Like he simply came over there to tell Daddy that they wanted him from the pics. He obviously didn't hear the man over the loud system say, hey, we need everybody with the family for pics. So Tracy in her confessional said, I don't like Sean because he's always in sister business. Why are you directing people? Go sit your ass down somewhere. You're a boyfriend. Something in the milk ain't right with him. And I was like, in this instance, I don't agree with Tracy at all. The man just simply came over there to tell Daddy that they wanted him for pictures. I feel like she just don't like him because of what happened in Napa Valley or whatever. But at the same token, Tracy, your husband ain't no better than nobody. Just because you got a ring behind his foolishness don't mean nothing. Your husband done cheated on you. Y'all done been all on marriage boot camp. Like your marriage, just because you've been married for some odd years don't mean that it's no better than anybody else's relationship just because you got a ring on your finger. That just means you stupider. But I feel like she was just being a bitch and she was drunk and acting a fool once again for no reason. So, Daddy decides to sing Unforgettable to Trina, and it was cute. It was funny. Everybody was laughing because he can't sing and he barely knew the words. He didn't even practice. But, everybody in the audience was, had their phones up and was videoing and laughing because it was funny and it was endearing and it was cute, especially since he didn't walk her down the aisle the last time she got married. So Tracy happened to be standing right over there, and so Daddy tells her to come over to sing with him, and I was like, is this happening, Jesus? Me and my brother was like, no. Fix it, Jesus. No. Please don't. And I was like, why would he pass the mic to the one sister that can barely sing a note? Tracy can't sing worth a damn. But you know, she there was her moment to shine. You know what I'm saying? She was drunk and she had that liquid courage, child. So she started singing with Daddy. She didn't know the words neither. Trina was looking like, can this shit please be over? Trina even tried to help him out because you know Trina can sing down. So after the performance, Tracy goes back to her seat. Tawanda in her confessional says when she sat down, Olivia, who is Tracy's daughter-in-law, told Tracy we were laughing at her when she was singing and that made her upset. Why would you do that, little girl? You talking about people need to stay in a child's place or stay out of people's business, stay out of sister's business. This little girl should have stayed in her place. Even if y'all was laughing, even if they were laughing at her, which they weren't, why would you tell her that to further upset her, to further dampen the mood? It's somebody's wedding. It's clear as day that Tracy is inebriated. Why would you do that, your little messy ass? Like, now I don't like that little bitch because she was wrong for that. And then you sit up there and lied on her because they weren't laughing at Tracy. They was laughing, period, because of Daddy. They weren't even laughing at her. So I was just like, this is a problem because Tracy got a lot of people in her ears feeding her shit, and she's so goddamn insecure that she's going to believe anything anybody tells her that happens with her family when it's regards to her. So Tracy say, my family is foul. That's why I don't fuck with them. And meanwhile, once again, she talked to Miss Wanda. Miss Wanda just sitting there with her rap like, child, I'm just sitting here. I just want my piece of cake, Jesus. Just leave me alone. I already got Evelyn on my back, bitch. So, we then hear Tawanda say to Tracy, what did I say? No, I'm sorry. She says it to Miss Wanda. She was like, what did I say, Miss Wanda? That was sweet, right? And Miss Wanda says, yes. Tracy says, no, you didn't. She was like, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Tawanda trying to tell her, you know, that we weren't laughing at you. We was talking about how, you know, pretty that was. It was cute. So Tawanda tells Tony what's going on. During the toast, you know, with the kids and the brother-in-laws or whatever toasting them, Tracy gets up to go to the back to separate herself from everybody. And I was like, at least she trying to do something right. So Tracy says, I don't want them bitches phony shit. She can't even get her words right. She's so drunk. So Tawanda tries to talk to Kevin about the situation. He was like, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. That's your problem. It's always just leave it alone. You don't even want to correct your wife when she's in the wrong. Like, he enables her bullshit. And I feel like that makes it even worse because I feel like he likes the fact that she's isolated from her sisters. You need to be the one to tell her, like, you're tripping, you're drunk, and you showing the fuck out. Chill the fuck out. Like, you're ruining your sister's day. So, he then also says, you know, she just needs somebody to believe in her. This is a damn near 50-year-old woman, if not 50. If she don't believe in her damn self by now, that's a fucking problem. You don't need nobody to believe in you. As long as you got yourself in God, what the fuck? And if ain't nobody gonna believe in you, if you don't believe in yourself, like Tracy wants somebody to coddle her and hold her in her arms and rock her like a baby. I don't know what part of her childhood she's missing that she didn't give her mama or her daddy, but that is not on her sisters, Jesus. Take that up with your mama and your daddy that fucked your life up, girl. But you lacking and you ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. I'm so tired of this narrative with this old ass woman. You damn 1 foot in the grave and you still miserable, girl. Ain't you tired of blaming everybody else on why you're not happy with you? Come the fuck on, bro. So, Tamar goes to the back to change her shoes, and this is what was talked about on her show. So she goes back there to change her shoes, and we hear Tracy say to her, you're never real. You're faking, you're phony. And Tamar said, but I love you. Like, she even trying to, like, talk her down. Like, I love you. She's like, I just came back here to change my shoes. The other sisters come back to the back. Miss Evelyn goes to the back. We see Tawanda pulling mommy away. And we heard Tracy say, you don't love me. You've never loved me. So I don't know if she was saying that to mommy, but that's what it sounded like. Tamar says, hold on, not today, not today. Because you know, this is a regular occurrence with them. So Tony says, go get Tracy's husband, Kevin. I'm not dealing with Tracy today. And I was like, exactly. Like, ain't nobody got time for this silly ass shit. So Kevin comes to the back. He said, I got Tracy. So everybody leave out. We didn't hear Tracy in her confessional say, I can't remember all the things I said because I was so mad. No, bitch, because you were so drunk. And instead of you owning up to your shit, you know what? I had a little bit too much to drink. I was already in my feelings because of everything else that happened. And it just exploded out of me and it went left. And then, my daughter-in-law told me this, such that just made it worse. Don't sit up here and act like you just had a memory lapse because you blacked out because you were so mad. No, girl, you were drunk. You can tell on your face that you were drunk and you won't even keep it a buck with yourself. But you want us to feel sorry for you. Girl, bye. So, Tawanda says to Tamar, she need to leave. So Tracy in the back steady going off saying, y'all not gonna treat me like a child or like I'm a little girl anymore. Girl, that's how you treat yourself. So Trina asks Tamar, what's going on? She's like, girl, nothing, it's your wedding. And Trina was like, you know what? At that point I was like, this is my wedding. I'm about to enjoy myself. Ain't nobody girl to be sitting up here dealing with family drama on my fucking wedding day. So Kevin and Tracy leave. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. We then get to see the new cake. And I know a lot of you last week were saying this was a storyline. I never believed that it was a storyline for the show because ain't no way in here I'm gonna have a cake that looked like that as my cake for the wedding day. That's one of the cakes that Monique do for somebody quinceañera or birthday. Like that's just an everyday regular ass cake. Like my bestie would have did that cake in her sleep, bitch, and they paid $2,800 motherfucking dollars for that cake, that everyday ass cake. So I don't bit more believe that was a storyline, like at all. It was cute, but it wasn't a wedding cake. Like they ain't even put no razzle dazzle on that bitch. They ain't even have a cake top on that motherfucker. So it's after the wedding. I don't know how long it had been after the wedding, but Tracy meets up with her dad and Mikey to talk. Mikey asks why he hasn't talked to her because normally they talk like twice a week. And they talk about Lauren, his daughter that passed away last year. Tracy says that it's hard, but she's sorry, because she's still dealing with her own grief as well. So Daddy tells her, they all miss her. Tracy starts to, that they all miss her regarding to Lauren. And Tracy starts to cry because, she's grieving because she said that Lauren was just not a niece to her. She was like a daughter to her. So he asks, at the wedding, were you thinking about Lauren? Was that what was bothering you? Were you mad that, you were thinking like she should have been here, whatever? And Tracy says yes, and that she was being antagonized. This is just my personal beliefs. I don't think that she was thinking about Lauren at all. I could be wrong, but I think that she was mad about the shit that happened in Napa Valley. I think that she was mad because the little girl told her they was laughing at her. I think she was mad about Sean. I think she was just mad and she was drunk. I don't think it had anything to do with Lauren, but for the sympathy vote, she said, yeah, it did have something to do with her. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. So, Mikey tells her, to talk to somebody, when it gets overwhelming. And I agree. So Tracy goes to see a therapist, and I was like, about the fuck time. So she tells the therapist that she's angry and she misses her niece, which I know has to hurt her. It would hurt anybody, especially with them having a relationship as close as they were to one another. It's obvious when you look at her face, you can tell that she's still very much hurting over that. And she does need help dealing with that. So, she also tells the therapist that, at the wedding, she hears some chitter chatter, and then Tamar came over and sat directly next to her and touched her. And she was like, don't touch me. And then she blacked out or whatever. I don't bit more believe you blacked out. I think you fully well remember what you did. You put your hands on your sister because you always want to fight Tamar. So they then flash back to, because she says, that her sisters is basically always talking about her. So then they do a flashback to all of the things that have been said about her over the course of the show. About Tawanda spilling the beans, about Kevin cheating on her. It was a possibility there might be an illegitimate baby out there. To Tony saying that she wanted her to lose weight and da 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 da. I'm like, I understand that those things hurt and they would bother me too, but y'all have done these things to each other. All of y'all wrong, but everybody feels like you did this to me and I'm pointing the finger at all y'all and I've done nothing but been hurt. Everybody feels like they've been the one that's scarred and wearing a scarlet letter and that everybody else is a culprit and they're the victims. But everybody fails to realize that all of them play a part in this. Like, they all need to repent for their sins and everything. And they're never going to get right until they all stop playing victim and take accountability for all of their actions. So she tells the therapist that she misses Lauren desperately, and she says she can't talk to Mikey anymore for real because, she doesn't want to be selfish, but how can she be there for him when she's still grieving herself? And I can very much understand where Tracy was coming from with that, because it's probably hard for her to even look at him, let alone talk to him. So she says she don't have nobody. And I don't think that's true. I think she does have people, but I think that she's just at a place where she's pushed everybody away and she's blocked everybody out because she's feeling some type of way. But I do think if she genuinely wanted help, her sisters would be there for her. So she starts to cry, gets very emotional, and says that she's afraid of the reality that she'll never see Lauren again. They then take a break and she goes to the back and she's breaking down, and the therapist is there for her and helps her through it. And then that's when we learn that COVID has hit and everybody has a stay-at-home order. So Mommy goes to stay with Trina and Vaughn, which I found to be quite ridiculous considering they're newlyweds. I didn't understand why she wouldn't go to LA to be with Tony or Tamar. I didn't really, or even hell, Tawanda. Tawanda and her nigga been together for a minute now. Like, she could have went over there. I just felt like that was a little bit selfish, but they seem to not mind her being there. So Tony talks to Mikey on Zoom, and he's in Lauren's room, which was very sad. He asks her, has she talked to Tracy? And she was like, no, it's not that I don't want to. I just had to calm down because I wasn't in a good place and I was upset still. So he tells her that, Tracy's going to counseling, and Tony's very happy to hear about that and wonders, are they doing something to hurt her that they don't know about? She then asks, is whatever she's dealing with, do you think that it has anything to do with Lauren? And he was like, he thinks so. And Tony says, well, why is she mad at us? And he was like, I don't know, but y'all will figure it out like y'all always do. So we then found out that Tracy has not talked to her family since the wedding. She's only been in, communication with her husband, her son, her daughter-in-law, and her grandson. So Kevin is a first responder. He works for the VA. He's dealing with COVID patients. So shout out to him for being on the front line and helping everybody and putting his life at risk to help people. Tracy says that she doesn't miss her sisters and that she has her family. Her family is her husband, her son, his wife or whatever, her grandson. She says her sisters are her sisters, but that is her family. And that's not helping the situation at all. But okay. So Tony talks about Vince calling her and saying that Tamar tried to commit suicide, and she retells how she learned everything. Tawanda says that she was in the bed asleep. She had a few missed calls, and then Trina called Sean and told him, and Sean came run up the steps with the phone, and that's how she found out. Evelyn said as soon as she found out, she hurried out on the first flight to go check on her baby. Trina just, was like, I just wanted to make sure she was okay. Evelyn says that she knew Tamar was struggling, but she didn't think that it would get to this point. And that's why I say you can never take it lightly when somebody's constantly saying, like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm sad, or I just want to be gone. Or I just want to just die. I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. You can't take those things lightly. So Evelyn says, if I would have lost Tamar, that would have been too much. And for anybody, for any mother, that would be too much to lose my child, for my child to go before me. I know I couldn't live with it. I could never. So I wondered at that point, because remember in the trailer, they showed Tony finding out about Tamar while she was in the studio, and Tamar was saying that that's not even how she found out. They filmed the whole reenactment. I'm wondering, since Tamar, was very public about this was a reenactment, they staged this, and that they decide to cut it out and just have them tell what happened. That's what it seemed like to me. So, because at the end of the episode, Tamar and Trina made it very clear that it wasn't their story to tell, and that Tamar has her own story to tell, and it should come from her mouth. But she is doing, better. She's getting the help that she needed. So I felt like they decided that WeTV decided to cut that reenactment out, which was very distasteful for them to do in the first place. And I didn't even understand why Tony agreed to fucking do that shit, because ain't no way in here I'm about to reenact some dark ass shit like that. So that was the episode. I give it an A. Unfortunately, it was It's sad, it's disturbing, it's just draining, this whole Tracy situation. I'm just honestly happy that one time it wasn't Tamar. For one time, Tamar wasn't the problem. So let me know what y'all thought about tonight's episode down below in the comment section. Make sure you guys check out my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City review. I have up episode 2 and 3 review. The Bravo app showed episode 3 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City early. Check it out before it expires. Also check out my Real Housewives of OC review, as well as the behind the scenes tea and spill the tea from last week, as well as my Real Housewives of Potomac review. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.